Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. In today's video I'm going to be showcasing a new team for the Chaos Shadow bosses, this time using some wild heroes instead of burn. Before I get into that though, I do just want to say a huge thank you to Dragonheir Silent Gods for sponsoring this video. So if you are interested in getting involved in the game, please do remember to click the link in the description or the pinned comment and get involved today. So I have currently shown two of my teams in the last couple of days, so I've shown two of my burn teams, which is these two here. The next one I'm going to be showing is a wild team. So if we jump into this boss here, the same boss that I've done for the last two, we've got here. Let's equip this team. So just to run through the boss, obviously, so the boss buffs itself every 10 seconds for 10 seconds. Every time it buffs itself, you'll see on the passive skill here, if it has one or more buffs, it decreases the damage they take by 20%. And obviously those buffs do mostly increase the damage it does or reduce the damage it takes significantly. So you want to have a way to deal with those buffs. As well as that, if the boss has one or more buff, the damage dealt by the skill ignores shields, immortality and invincibility. So if you don't have somebody to remove those buffs, you want to make sure you're using raw healing rather than shields or either of these two buffs. The other good thing obviously is attack penalty to make sure that the damage is being reduced. So first of all, in this team, I'm using Horus as my tank. Horus is built in the Ancestral Protection set to reduce the damage everyone else is taking. He's also wearing the Crown of the Unclean artifact with enough accuracy after the buffs to place that. In terms of, I mean, that's not really necessary. I've got him in the defense penalty gloves just because they were there, really. That's about the only reason. So that is Horus in this team. Next up, I've got Catherine. So Catherine is my healer. She's also in Ancestral Protection for some reason. I should probably change one of the two of them, but it's working. In terms of artifact, I've got the Gatekeeper's Staff on her just to give myself some extra survivability. I wasn't sure how strong she'd be after her buffs recently. So yeah, that just allows her to help everybody stay alive. She's obviously built with Enlightenment. I'd love for that to be more, but due to the fact the artifact doesn't have any and I don't have an Enlightenment mythical chest from this set, it's obviously bound to be lower. So she is there to deal with all of the healing. Next up, I've got my buff remover, and that is Fyra. So Fyra is a really good epic for this boss. You've got to make sure he's placed in the middle, otherwise he won't be able to hit the boss with his ultimate skill and just won't use it. And he's built with enough accuracy to remove those buffs. He's also built with some damage, not a massive amount, but obviously he's got 48 skill haste there, plus another 100. He is wearing the gloves that give him 15 attack for every skill haste he has. So his actual attack ramps up quite significantly, so he does do a decent-ish amount of damage. Next up, I've got my Erich. So Erich is here as my Witch's Remains target because of the, user, just because of the amount of hits he does on his ultimate skill. I believe it hits, 5 times. I haven't got him booked or anything, so his damage isn't really great. As you can see, just a relatively decent amount of crit rate, some crit damage, and some attack in his build. Nothing too crazy. Next up, I've got my main damage dealer for this team, and that is Tonelnan. So Tonelnan is built with, instead of doing maths, 76% crit rate, so not even crit capped. He needs 80%, 195% crit damage, which is also low, and just some of the Emperor set and these gloves. The reason for this is I wanted crit damage, and I don't have any good defense penalty mythical gloves that are crit damage with a good amount of crit rate. So these came in for this build. Which is convenient because all of the damage dealers I'm using on these bosses are wearing Emperor set, which obviously gives them some skill haste anyway. And also I'm using the Ravatrix's roots from Season 2, Famiander on my Tonelnan. I do have some timings here, I'm not sure what I've got set up. Okay, so the only thing set up is just to allow Tonelnan to go in line with my Erich, just to make sure obviously he's using his ultimate skill during defense down. Which does actually mean I'm losing a lot of uptime on him. He could be using his ultimate skill more frequently than that. So yeah, this is a nice easy team, obviously only using epics and a free legendary. So I'm just going to jump out, let this run play through, and I'll be back at the end.
Build tools for you.
Tempered blade never rests.
Ashes of rebirth. I never give up.
Build tools for you.
Ashes of rebirth.
Tempered blade never rests.
And there we go. So another team capable of doing significantly more than the 22 million requirement. So if you don't have some of the damage dealers in this, it's not a huge concern. You can always bring in other alternatives. Like instead of Tonolan, you could use somebody like Neda the Rare to probably fill in the gap there and help this team get to 22 million without using some of the stronger epics. So that is all for this team and for this video. I do just want to say a huge thank you once again to Dragonheir Silent Gods for sponsoring this video. So if you are interested in giving the game a go, please do click the link in the description and get involved today. Other than that, just a huge thank you to you for watching the video today, and I'll see you in the next one.